Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Okay.
I think you live.
Okay, welcome to Hopeifiers. My name's Alan Friesen. I'm here with brother Daniel Zapula. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, my brother. So good to see you.
So good to see you. I missed you last week. My
Yes.
Thursday was just not the same without having a chat.
I hope you killed it last week. That's what I heard. I heard you killed it.
I didn't even do it, man.
Oh, you still killed it. Don't worry.
All right, thank you. I did sing, so I did get a little fun there as well. So that was good. So
you gotta sing, you gotta love, you gotta share some love, man.
Exactly. So we had a conversation just earlier about gratitude, about being grateful, and I had shared my thought that gratitude is a necessary thing to be happy. You got to have gratitude to be happy today, and gratitude about tomorrow is hope. Gratitude about what's going to happen in the future is hope. Does that make sense to you?
Wow. So what you're saying is that gratitude has to do with what we do now and in tomorrow. Is looking at today's predicament and looking at the future, and that when you live in between those spaces, however you show up, that's what you call gratitude. I am with you. I am with you because there's something about gratitude that has to do with our view of self and else and the world in space and in time. You see, because one way to look at self is to look backward, and that is to judge oneself and to say that when given where I come from, given the difficulty I've come from, you know what, there's no reason for me to be even present in the world as me. And so there may be a temptation to depreciate and to deface oneself. And that is to eradicate and to gum down. Like, when you use a crayon, you want to erase it, to erase oneself from the act of life. But in gratitude, we are saying you got to recognize the significance and the importance of your presence in time and in space, and to recognize that in that moment there is grace, because gratitude means being full of the great one, the great one. And I think the great one is love. It is that being equal to that which makes for value in the world. What is it that adds value? What is it that really pronounces your ultimate value, your ultimate selfhood? And I think love is there. Do you think I'm making it too complicated?
I think I'm following you. I think here's what I believe you're telling me. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that great gratitude is gratefulness, grateful or full of gratefulness, I should say, and that is love. So if we are full of love, if we are in a frequency of love, if we are focused on love for ourselves and for others, then we have gratitude. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm thinking being full of the great one.
Full of the great one, yes.
The great one, the great one. And I've said, only love is great. Only love is a great one. In definition, even God is love.
Right.
Because outside of love, we are a resounding gong. We are only but a gong show. So whenever somebody say they are full of gratefulness, they are full of love. because love alone is the grace that deserves attention. Love alone is what changes the world and the environment and the essence of reality. Love alone transforms the world. And so what we need then, when people are saying, you got to be grateful, you got to be grateful, another way to say is that just be full of love, because love is the essential, is what really is the blood that flows in each one of us. Love is what we share in between us. Love is a bridge in between people. If you take love out of the equation, don't even talk about gratefulness. Don't even talk about community. Don't even talk about society. Don't even talk about anything. Love is a great magnifier. It's a glorious Hopeifier.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Nice one, Daniel. Okay.
I never heard that one. That's great.
Oh yeah, that's it. Love Can Build a Bridge is the name of the song. I first heard it when my daughter was like in grade 4, and her and all her classmates sang it, and it made her proud papa cry because they sang it so sweet, and it's such a nice song. So yes.
That's so good. That's so good. But can you think though about, in your experience, about where love has made you even full of grace?
I don't even know if I understand grace. Tell me more what grace is.
I think grace is a manifestation of love. That means to accept else as you are. Grace is assuming and giving people the benefit of the doubt and having open hand and to receiving, not judging. Because wherever there is gracefulness, wherever gratefulness increase, there is decrease in judgment, in prejudices.
Right. Okay.
There's the absence of prejudice in the sense that we are welcoming of else's existence, no matter how different there may be to us, no matter our cultural notion of what rightness of being and of existential manifestation ought to be, you see.
Daniel, that's exciting. Okay, here's what I think you're telling me. You're telling me that with love, then we provide grace for others to be as they are. We accept them as they are. We're not trying to judge them or change them or do anything else except for see them as they are. And that is grace. Is that right?
Yes. And love alone is the essence of who we are.
Hallelujah, Brother Daniel. That was beautiful.
But if we can think about that, wherever there is gratefulness that is being manifested and shared, it is the bread of fellowship. It's the bread that we break among each other. It is the cup of unity. It is indeed the cup of salvation. It is that which build us and make us a unit. And you cannot build a marriage without gratefulness. You cannot build a society without gratefulness. You cannot build anything without that sense of grace. And that's why every saint is seen as person that are full of grace. If you want to see the great person, the greatest person, the people we model our lives after, they are full of the great one. They are full of gracefulness. Now they are full of love, acceptance, forgiveness, temperance, patience. They wait for you. They wait on you. They don't rush you. They don't bring a knife to your throat. What they offer you is just a hand of fellowship. And they say, we live our lives to witness and to be witnessed, you see.
To witness and to be witnessed. To witness others, to see others as they are. Yes.
And to be seen.
And to be seen.
To love and be loved. To welcome and to receive and to be received. To be touched. That's gracefulness. To be touched in such a way that your touch adds value.
Right.
When your touching doesn't add value, when it's about taking, it diminishes.
Right. Well, if it's about giving, if it's about life affirming, that touch is very valuable, right? A
That's
hug, a pat on the shoulder. Yes, I get you.
because
Yes.
only in giving do we receive, eh?
Mm,
And only in giving of self. And I think sometimes we are so full of bitterness and jealousy, and that is, and much it's just based out of fear. But perfect love bans fear. Where there is love and gratefulness, there is no fear. There's no fear of being judged. There is no fear of being rejected. It's just I offer. And I offer without judgment, without prejudice. That means whether you receive me or not, it doesn't matter. I give out of what is the deposit that is within me, the treasure that is residential within me. And that when I offer it, I build the capacity of someone else to be and become the best version of themselves. I think there is so much in it to unpack, but gratefulness is more than just going and whistling your way or singing your way, but it is an incarnation of love. You see.
mm-hmm.
What
Now
do you
and previously you talked about love being a river, right?
right?
So is it like gratefulness is kind of the way that you can be part of that stream, that flow of love?
Wow. But again, that's a manifestation of love, right? Because love is so. Just think about the ancient Greek and what people talk about the noumenon and phenomenon. I mean, a noumenon is the thing in themselves, which is the ideals. The phenomenon are things as they are manifested. You're a philosopher, that's your background. I mean, it's a sense that a chair, I'm sitting on a chair, you see, but that's a chair. It's only a phenomenon because this too is a chair. You see, it's a tool, it's a chair, and you can use a stone as a chair. You see, so the idea of chair, it cannot be broken. It's eternal. It belongs to the world of idea and ideals. But the phenomenon is the manifestation of that ideal in the daily, and the manifestation of it take various form. You see, so love is the ideal. Gratefulness is a manifestation of love. And so when we welcome that, it flows. It's one of the ways in which love flows and connects to else and to the world. And when you have that dimension living in you and manifesting, you are grateful to people. You live honoring each day and receiving each day as is. You don't criticize it. You honor the day. You welcome the day as is. And you say, this is a day that the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. You will assume, no matter the day, even whether it's cloudy day or sunshiny day, it's the day inside you that matters. And not only that, when I wake up, I look at the day, the environment, I am a steward of it. I receive it, I respect it, and I honor it, and I do not deface the environment. I want to nurture reality itself so that reality can build health and hope, and happiness, all the H that we're talking about, and helpfulness to the world around us.
Nice.
So
nice.
Gratefulness changed the environment.
Yes. Yes. That is beautiful. Now, tell me another thing here. I think, here's the way I believe this to be, that the amount of love that we can, well, no, wait a minute. I'm generating love, or I'm manifesting love with my gratitude, with my gratefulness, right? And so in that, the more that I can do that for myself, the more that I can do it for others. Does that make sense? Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. There is a relationship between how self-love and else and loving else.
Right. Yeah. Because I think that's part, knowing when, or accepting that you are enough, accepting that that you have enough, you will be enough, that you are loved, that you are love, I think allows you then to be of more value to other human beings.
So what if I don't love myself?
Yes.
Like, so what's the unintended consequences of that?
You're not going to be able to love anybody else if you don't love yourself.
When do we begin loving ourselves? Is it when we're baby, or is it when we are 18 years of age?
Well, I think you can correct me because you're the genius of this organization here. You're the smarts. I'm just here because of my red background, I think. So I think that we come into this world connected to the universal source of knowledge, the universal source of love, the universal source of caring, the universal source of gratitude, the universal source of health. We come into this world full, complete, beautiful beings. Now we have this human experience. And then sometimes that human experience goes perfect and we have an amazing human experience. And more times than not, though, there's challenges, of course, that make it a little bit more challenging. And sometimes there's a toxic amount of challenge where it makes it almost impossible for somebody to have that best life they have without supports, without other people saying, listen, you're struggling. I can see that. I can help.
So what do you mean by human experience?
Well, I think that we are just spiritual beings. And we have this human experience that we're doing. And then we as spiritual beings, we're all returned to spirit afterwards. So we, while we're here, want to help everybody else along on their human journey.
So by human experience, you're talking about a journey that we all take in the world that of sense, in the world that we know today.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. And that human experience, really, if you want to go deep, that it is love, right?
Well, the best of that human experience is love. The best of it, right? The worst of it is what pain and sorrow and death and hurt and those kind of things, right?
And here's the question: do we have love and unlove and pain and all those stuff, or is it the consequences of a world depleted of love is war, right? So we can objectify each other, trivialize each other, tribalize each other, and then we can set ourselves up to destroy and demolish. Instead of building, we actually tear people apart.
Right.
A very, very sad reality that people are experiencing. But I think a genuine, good added value to the world, for a greater experience of this world, of our own humanity. If anything, if any one prayer I say people are to do is fill me with love, because love alone is wise. Love alone has an added value. Love alone gives life. You see, I've been to a funeral and loved one gather around it's just what is just the remainder, the shell of humanity right there. And when people go there, what they celebrate most is the love, the trail of love that the person leave behind, and pain. Whenever you withdraw love, you inject pain, you see. And I think
by withdrawing love, you inject pain because of the disconnection, because the separation that causes. Do you agree?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. There's such a thing. That's so simple.
We're all connected, right? We're all connected. And when we have love for each other, then, as you said, we have grace we accept the person as they are. With absence of that, then when you're talking about war, we objectify, we as humans have to think that they are something less than human, or that they're the wrong color, or they talk the wrong languages, or there's some reason why they're not a human and you can hurt and kill them, right?
Yes, so important. You know, we talk about increase in anxiety in our world. Like, well, what is anxiety? If I, if you set the separation anxiety, you begin at childhood, you separate a child from the mother, or even, you know, when mom goes away and all those stuff, there is a sense of anxiety that builds because of separation. And a degree of it, if you think about it, you could actually principalize and take and draw a principle that in our disconnection, in our separation of love, or if we are worried that love will not be manifested to us, our body becomes anxious. We become emotionally anxious. We become spiritually anxious because the soul really craves for love. We were made for love by love, and through love alone, we will find our identity. So in gratefulness, you find your true identity. In gratefulness, you welcome the self. You don't see any sense of color. You don't see any sense of tribalism. You see uh, just love. You see love manifested and bottled down in different form. I think our world will be different. Our marriages will be different. Our relationship will be different. Our politics will be different if we remove the anxiety, decrease anxiety, and we become intentional about being present as we are by nature, love.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Mm-hmm.
it run deeper than love, than blood.
And present, being present with a person, being there and really empathizing, understanding what they're saying, that by itself is love, is it not?
Well, it is. It's a loving thing. There's love, and the loving is like right now, like if all of a sudden there it is, I am gone. Well, you worry what's going on. You worry that you're talking to her too. But here I am again. But the sense is that sometime in our we bless the world by
I started crying there for a second when you went away, Daniel. You're back. Thanks. Woo.
you increase my level of anxiety. But there is something so powerful about being present and being there. One thing what the kids love or is when they come home and mom is there and dad is there. There's one thing, there's so much peace, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like when you show up and you see somebody is there, you know, or when you ill, somebody is there. And when you call, somebody is there. So this everything, every device was designed to make us more connected. Unfortunately, we're using these devices to disconnect ourselves even more and further from
Mm-hmm.
each other, which
Yeah.
is, but
And they're so easy to spread other messages of disconnection and hate so to such a wide audience in such quick manner, right? That's kind of, they're supposed to be a connection device. And you think of this YouTube, where we can have a connection with anybody in the whole world, right? We can find the smartest and the brightest and the boldest and have a conversation with them wherever they are. A great connection tool. But then it gets used also to cause disconnection and dissension and on all of the unhealthy things that follow from that. I'm thinking that disconnection in you is disease. Do you think that makes sense?
and is a disease, and it's diseasing. It's the antithesis of love, the antithesis of gratefulness. It's the sum total of anxiety and terror. You know, it's terrorism. And I think that's really, it builds so much trauma within us because the soul trembles within when you withdraw love. Because just like we nurse at our mother's breast, so too we nurse at the breast of humanity. And what we get is love. That's what flows, love. That's what the world needs. And, and being grateful is living in the state of love, in the state of love, you see. And when we do that, we profoundly impact the way people live.
Mm-hmm.
When we do that, we eliminate fear, we decrease anxiety, and we contribute to a better world, to a more hopeful world, you see.
Do you think that love in action is basically just focusing on the concerns or how they might help the other? It's a giving act, right? It's like, if I'm here and I want to help you, however I might help you, that's a loving act. Do
That's
you think? Yeah.
that's but in many ways too, I think love is an action. It's an action word. It's an action verb. It's a verb. It's not just a noun. It's not just an it. Love is a verb. It's a that is in that. And I think that is the whole thing, that everything is in flux. Everything is emotion. And love is I think it is it's a river. That's what I was talking about. And it's a flowing river, and in many ways a fire that consumes. There is a fear that hate will always conquer love and overtake it. It's lie. It's bull. Love will conquer.
And how are you so certain of that?
Because number one, the maker himself is love, and love wins in the end. And I read it, the most, one of the famous scripture, 1 Corinthians 13, love, it talk about love is patient, love, and it say love is eternal. Love cannot, and it cannot be defeated. But there will be a time where hate, where anxiety, where all the negative things that it will be defeated, but love will supplant all. And that's why there's so much hope, right? That's why I say you can be grateful and live your life, show more grace. And that is forgive more, receive people, demand a little less. Sometimes we over demand of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Ask a little less. And I think, and be content, and know that you don't need to have the same thing that the neighbor has. Much of our anxiety is because we are living in intention of wanting to get what the neighbor has that we didn't have. But when we learn to accept, receive, and to celebrate, and to be okay, and to have a healthy theology and philosophy of what is enough, I think we profoundly alter the quality of our environment and our world.
I agree entirely. I think that that's one thing that really is deciding when is enough, I think, is a very important decision. And I think a lot of people put it at some unattainable goal or a very, very difficult place, especially when they talk about money, I think, right? Because really, if you got more money coming into your bank account than's going out, so you have a positive income flowing in, if that's 5% more income coming out than expenses, you're in a good place financially. That's a good thing, right? And if there's a good likelihood for that to continue into the future, that you're going to stay healthy to be able to produce that wealth, and your expenses are going to be relatively the same as what they are now, well, that's a pretty good indication that you have enough, and you will have enough, right? And that doesn't mean you're making $8 million. That could be that you make 50,000 and your expenses are 45, and they have no likelihood they're going to change in the near future, right?
That's right. No, man, you addressed that one so well and so eloquently. That's so important. And I need to learn that again and again and again each day, and to learn that discipline of contentment. And I say it's a discipline because it doesn't come naturally to most people. It's a learning equation. But it coming back to the gratefulness and to the love is that let us ploy. Let us just, let us ploy to on love. Let build a scheme to love people more. Let quietly, when you are thinking, let meditate on how to surprise people with our love. And when we do, we make people even more grateful. That's really the only discipline. I know we already have been 30 minutes already almost, but when we ploy that, when we do that daily, when I'm meditating, I'm going to bed and say, I wonder how I can surprise somebody with so much love, just hit them with so much love that they'll be grateful.
Nice.
I
Nice.
want to do that each and every day, but I'm having a hard time doing it because pride eats and ruminate, dominate my heart, and anxiety cloud my path, and fear, and there's a sense of being weak if you love. When you are weak, you're actually strong. And I just think it's important that we can go and devise a plan each day, a scheme to love each other genuinely.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I've been thinking this is on a similar vein, I think, but I'm thinking that I would like to, like here as an example, we're co-creating and experience a conversation that for us both will increase our peace and increase our happiness and increase our joy and increase our gratitude. So we're co-creating, we're making love by having a conversation. Well, that sounds weird. That's not. Yes.
No, that is, we are here to make love. That's why I said you receive and you give love. Anytime
Right.
you are talking, make love, not war. That love alone is credible. And love alone is trustworthy. Love alone. And I think that's the engine that, like, we cannot build the world without that. And to do that, it requires a certain degree of vulnerability and overcoming
vulnerability in that you're going to express, you're going to extend love, and it might be rejected. Is that vulnerability? Is that where it is?
Right. And that's okay. And that you offer and that people may not receive, but that's okay. The flower grows each morning, whether you notice it or not. The flower blooms.
Right. Right. Yes.
You know how many days each and every day, every flower you pass by, say, I wish somebody would notice. I wish somebody would just touch me. But the flower opens each and every day to beautify our lives and our environment. But we are so caught up in our internal world and our anxiety, we never receive the day. But the flower doesn't really bend. It doesn't scream. It said, someday somebody is going to notice me, and somebody is going to take me and give me to their loved one, and I'm going to make their life a better place. You see?
Nice. Beautiful. So we start off talking about gratitude. And here's, I think, the summary. Gratitude is being connected to gratefulness, and gratefulness is, or the gratefulness, and the gratefulness is love. And love is the most powerful that there is. And then in extending love, we create grace. And grace is where we can accept each other as we are without judgment, just as another human being that we're trying to help each other move along this human experience. Is that a good summary?
Yes, and not taking anything, anyone, or self for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's the sense of, then that is grace, even in this moment, even in now.
Nice. Daniel, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, my Bushman, for that great conversation.
We'll see you there, and just keep on doing that. Let's keep on beating the bush. We see what happens.